First thing though, the hood has to go, so. Alright. Hood screw, hood mounts, right there. Oh, just gotta remove this now. And the battery. Come on, there we go. Up. So, I'm not gonna do this in any particular order. I know this is a pain in the ass. So, while I have energy, I suppose this will probably be what I do next. But I do need these to get to this. There we go. And it's always good to have a shop iPad, so we'll take pictures just in case I ever forget where anything goes. We have pictures. There we go. Alrighty. This needs to be loosened off of the turbo down there. Okay. Alright. Yeah, now that'll come off. With a little bit of a pain in the ass. Alrighty. Yes, as per usual with Subarus, we have so much room to maneuver for this. Where's the flathead? It's a lot easier with two people. One person like kind of finagles this, the other person sticks a flathead in here and gets the bottom of the pipe off. I think this would be easier if I put a slightly shorter hose on this right here. Come on. There we go. Why people try to roll their fenders? I will never know. Just cut them cleanly or something. There we go. Reaching under and just grabbing and pulling up seems to be the best tactic. Oh wait, before I do that, I believe that's a coolant line. The engine did overheat, so I don't think there's going to be much coolant in it, but we still need to drain it. Alright, so down under here, right here at the corner of the radiator, there's a, you can probably see it right here. There's this white plug, so I'm going to open that up, and that should drain some coolant, if there's any in this side. Oh, yeah, there we go. And while we wait for that, I suppose we can get to work undoing this wiring here and removing the air conditioning compressor. That'll be a 10 mil. Don't drop. The one issue with these gloves is they're really sloppy. There we go. Okay. And we'll undo there's no refrigerant in the system, so I can take this apart without worrying. If your air conditioning is charged, probably don't want to undo these two lines. You probably just want to remove the compressor and kind of hang it off or put it in the battery compartment here. Those are 12s. There we go. Can detension this now. And we'll detension this one as well. Oh, that's right, we need a 12 mil wrench. 13, 12. So, you take the wrench, you put it down there. And then loosen that as well. And that'll just slide down and relieve tension on the belt. Take that belt off. Take that belt off. Wow, that was not put in very tightly. Oh yeah, and then there's a bolt on the front holding it in. The alternator. There's a bunch of coolant right there. Okay, so that's good. That is actually a good sign, because that means it's not the water pump that's leaking. That means it's one of these coolant lines up here. Honestly, it's probably the one down here. There we go. I guess it would probably make life easier if I just remove the cable. Oh, that's it. I recommend not touching this other bolt, because when you tighten your throttle cable back up, you're going to want it to kind of be in the same place. Otherwise, you're going to have to mess with it to get the car to idle properly and get your proper throttle response again. So I'd recommend leaving that bolt how it is. Just come in here and it comes out of that groove, and then that pops out. And there you go. Oh, it's just that easy. I guess what we can do now is remove some vacuum lines here. So we'll get our snips. We'll snip off these zip ties. And what I like to do for these is grab some painter's tape and I start lettering them, so when you go to put it back together, it's just super easy. You don't even have to doubt about where they go. And grab the iPad, Just grab a picture. Some of these might be brittle, so these are nice and squishy. Like, see how I can bend this and watch. It goes squish, squish, squish. Like it's nice and squishy, right? If your vacuum lines are hardened, I'd recommend picking up some new ones. It's going to take you a couple days to do this job anyways. Just go onto Amazon Prime right now and just like grab some vacuum line. The vacuum line that I ordered. So I ordered this stuff, 10-foot automotive silicon vacuum hose, 3mm, 10-foot. So this was $14 Canadian, so that's like probably about $10 US. Yeah, so this is stuff I ordered, and it seems to be decent enough quality. I'll put the link in the video description. Just go ahead and pull this one off as well. And we gotta disconnect this as well. Okay, and then I have this wire. I think it goes to my turbo timer. I'm not really sure, but I usually just snip that, and then when I bring it all, like when I reconnect everything, I just solder it and reheat shrink it back together. We'll undo this coolant hose here. We can actually hear that most of our coolant is done draining down there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scoot down here again and seal this back up. And we'll take this and position it underneath this hose here. Now we just have to zap that with the 8mm. Probably need a longer extension. There we go. Okay, starting to get some fluid draining out of that. Oh, and there we go. Let that drain out. Right, so we're gonna undo this coolant line right here. Flathead. This goes to the turbo. So this should be all drained now. Make sure that you, when you reassemble your engine, you make sure to tighten this. Otherwise you're going to get coolant splatter all over your turbo, and obviously you don't want to be losing coolant. There we go. And these two, one of these goes right here, so this is the coolant splatter that I was talking about up here on the turbo. And this is the line, comes off of there just with a clamp. And then we've got to remove these two right here as well. So what we're going to do is take our, whatever the hell these things are called, squeeze, drag those down. And these both easily just come right off. And that's all done. And then we got to undo these two 12mm bolts. Yep, that's 12mm. And we might as well put the radiator cap back on. And we don't lose the cap. Don't lose the bolt. Okay, put these there temporarily. There's one more bolt that needs to be undone, so I can get in there with this. It's not even a bolt, it's a nut. And with that, this comes off, and then there's just the one last hose in here that I didn't have clamped down properly, and it leaked. And I believe That is likely where my coolant leak came from, if I were to hazard a guess. Alright, there's our coolant reservoir pissing over all over everything. I believe I can disconnect this as well. I don't know what this is, but it's just these two little lines right here. One is zip tied, one isn't. That can just stay in here because it's still connected down below. All right, so this is the power steering pump. So in order to get to that, what I need to do is I need to pull the radiator and remove one of these horns so that I can get a impact onto this, and then I can spin this and use it to pump the fluid out of this into a container because I don't have a siphon. So, and get started on this. Okay. So that should come off now. There shouldn't be any coolant left in here. There we go. And we can just give that a snug up so that it doesn't go anywhere. We're going to remove the bracket that holds on the radiator. That will actually go with the power steering pump thingy, just because I don't feel like disconnecting it. So we'll take our pliers and remove that. And then this should just come right off, I hope. This will also have to drain into the pipe down here, so we'll let that. So yeah, I do have to go down here and disconnect the two fans. So it's pretty easy. Just come on under here, and then here's the first connector right here. Just push. I don't think you even have to really do anything fancy. I'm pretty sure you just push up on the little release tab. Yep. So instead of pushing, like, I don't know how good the camera, I'll pull out a flashlight. Okay, so you don't push down on anything on this connector. Instead, there's a little tab on this that you push up, and then it pops off of this, and then you just pull this out. So it's like inverted. So instead of squeezing and pulling, you push up on this little thing, like right here at the top. You push up on that and then pull it out. So there's a lot of connectors in this car that go like that. It's kind of, if it's not coming out when you're squeezing it, then you probably have to push up on something. So just lift it up and tilt it just to make sure we get the fluid out. Okay. There we go. So I'm just going to go store this over here at the back. There's still probably some fluid in here. So what I'll do is I'll store it on an angle so that nothing pours out. All right, and with that, we have way more room to work here. So now I just have to zap this off, and then I can get to this, and I can crank that and pump out the power steering fluid. So let's get this off. Yeah, I had to replace this this hose with a brand new hose. The old hose, so this entire engine, the reason it's all black in there, it was all covered in power steering fluid for some insane amount of time, I'm sure. And so I checked the hose, and there was a hole in the bottom of the hose, so go figure. So I replaced the hose and then put a better clamp on it. Oh, didn't expect there to be fluid in that. Oh, now I'm recreating the issue. When I say power steering fluid, what I really mean is transmission fluid, because these cars take ATF for their power steering systems. What we'll do is this. It's a lot easier if you have somebody with you, but this will work for now. And it comes out really fast when you do this, so. There we go. So that should be most of the fluid. So now when we do up the, or undo this down here to remove this power steering pump, hopefully it doesn't spill too much fluid all over us, and we can contain it with the with some shop towels. Disconnect this hose right here with the pliers. This hose is looking kind of stiff. Could probably get replaced, but it's not leaking yet, so. There we go, no fluid. And I want this really close nearby in case it leaks. Yeah, there's a little bit of leakage there. Okay, so we need this copper washer off of there. And it looks like we were able to get basically no spillage. So we'll just take this and we'll run it through there. Here, just to mop up any loose fluid. There we go. That's the issue with the Insta360 Go 3S is it is awesome for POV. Super small and light, doesn't like take up your frame of like block your eyesight or anything that much. But the battery life is not very long. Obviously, that's a trade-off. So I got these things from Canadian Tire. They don't, they're not, when you think of bungees, you think of things that like are elastic. These stretch like a little bit, but basically because my fenders are already fucked, I just hook them onto the fender and I can grab things like these two air conditioning lines and I can hook them out of the way. Yeah, make sure you have some extensions and wobble extensions as well. They make this job like actually doable. Okay, so that will come off, and then yeah, we need to get to this other. Oh, can I get? Oh, perfect. I can get around that. There we go. Oh, that almost went into the bucket of coolant. That would have really sucked. Maybe I can get it without the extension. Huh. Almost. Crank pulley's in the way. Can I get it with a little extension? Unlikely. Pretty much the air conditioning would have to come out if I want to use this tool, but I have an alternative. So, take breaker bar and adapt it. And then we need to go counterclockwise, so that means we need to go down this way. There we go. Barely any effort. Let's untighten. Oh, yeah, there's one more bolt. Okay. Maybe? Yeah, there we go. Probably not the best thing for the threads, but we got it off. There we go. Your compressor is off. Now we just have to do the power steering pump, and then we can probably start looking at removing the intake manifold. And then once the intake manifold's off, pretty much just have to unbolt the downpipe, remove a few more coolant and vacuum lines, disconnect the wiring harness, and then we can pull the actual engine out, do the pilot bearing. Yeah, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. This is just a spare connector. I think this will be a 12 mil. This power steering pump, I think, is off of a later generation vehicle or like a Legacy or something. And so it has a connector that like changes the speed of the pump or something depending on like if you're moving the vehicle, or I don't know. I tried Googling it, but point is, if your car doesn't have anywhere for it to connect, but your pump has one, then that means the pump was probably replaced at some point. Yeah, I didn't even torque it that tight because it was such a pain in the ass to get to. There we go. So yeah. Oh. Ooh. Oh no. Oh, look, this hose is... There's a giant hole in the bottom of this hose. So that would be where the coolant was actually coming out of. This was my gut feeling, was this hose was no good. So that means I'm going to have to replace this. You can see right here that hose got completely fucked up. So that's going to need to be replaced. That's probably where the coolant started gushing out of. Alright, so Napa actually came in clutch here, and I'm actually able to get a replacement radiator hose for this car, and it should be available for pickup tomorrow. So if it is, that'll be awesome. If not, it says Thursday, so hopefully it'll be tomorrow because I really want to try driving this thing again. The hose basically just looks like a less bent version of this. The inner, let's see here, the center line length is 10.2 inches, and when I measured this quick and dirty, so that's about 3, 2, 3, 2, right? So 10.2 seems about right for this hose. So and the shape is about the same, and the inner diameter is spot on, so I think that that's pretty much the exact hose that I need. So yeah, good on Napa for coming in clutch again. And then we'll also want to remove the turbo vacuum lines as well. This is another vacuum line that I replaced on one of my previous pulls of this engine. And that is gone forever. No need to be so difficult. There we go. Pull this. And those come out. And that's already snapped. And we just have to release. Perfect. So all of these, that can stay there. So we'll just snap a picture. I've done this a bunch. I'll probably remember how it goes, but you never have too many pictures. And obviously we're going to want a shop rag here because gasoline is going to leak out here. Let me pull this off. Yep. thought this was a fresh hose, but maybe, oh, maybe this one wasn't. Now is a good time to go through and undo the injector cables. This line right here needs to come undone, so we'll do that. Probably replace it too. This line needs to come undone. This wiring harness needs to come undone. Need to undo the grounding bolt. Yeah. Okay, but we should label them all first. Come on. I've gotten this out before. Yes, I think that this is... Okay, I was pressing it down. It was a lift, so... God damn it. If you don't already have one of these Milwaukee M12 3/8s, get one. They're just so good. Battery lasts forever. Does 550 foot-pounds of torque. These hoses that can only go into one place, like they're formed, I don't really worry about labeling them or taking pictures, because when you're going through and connecting, like looking for things to connect, unless you're going to forget. I mean, if you're going to forget to connect something and you're not going to be careful, then yeah, definitely go through and take pictures. But as long as you're relatively careful, it's fine. I think I usually pull it off from here, I think. But, no, I don't. I don't do that one. This is the one I do. I believe that this is no, this is a coolant line, I think. There we go. Come on. It's sliding. There we go. Okay, got that one off. Need to do the injectors. So the injectors I usually just label one on each side. And then it's pretty obvious, like the other one goes, you know, on the other spot. I just label whichever one is easier to get to. So we'll do that right now. Okay, so that's A, so we'll take a picture of that one. Yeah, basically once this intake manifold is off, all that's left is like a few, just like a handful of, actually I don't even know if there's really any more coolant lines or anything to really undo. You basically just unbolt. I only have 3 bolts put on my exhaust just because these 2 are a pain in the ass. And it's straight piped anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So there's that. There's removing the dog bone and then supporting the transmission with a jack. There's this coolant hose. Remove the starter motor. I mean, you have to do that because one of those bolts is a bell housing bolt. And yeah, that's it. Right? Super simple. Oh wow, that's loose. There's a clamp here on this on the turbo inlet, and I thought it was going to be a pain in the ass, but it's actually super loose. So that obviously wasn't tightened. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, so 4. We've got 8 bolts that we need to undo. I believe these are all 12s. And we'll use our magnetic parts tray to store these. Kind of wish that Milwaukee had made their impact things magnetic, but whatever. Yeah, okay, I gotta get that out of the way. The second coolant line on this side. Can't get the driver in there. So it's just this line right here. It was the same thing on the other side. And then these hard lines here are bolted. Yeah, I guess. Why not just remove them? It'll make things easier. They have to come off anyway to pull the engine out. So I'll show you guys that. It's, oh wait, yeah, it's 10. So, and I believe it's just 2 bolts. One bolt right here. We'll bolt them back in. Power steering lines can get pushed out of the way. And then we can just put these back in there to sit. And then this coolant line should just pop right up. There we go. And then with that out of the way, I can rotate it and I can get to the last bolt for this intake manifold. Oh, that's tight. There we go. So now all 8 bolts are off of the intake manifold and we should be able to just lift it off with a little bit of finicking. It is kind of a tight squeeze to get this out of here. Is there any... Feels like there's still... Oh, is it just the wiring harness? I think it's just the wiring harness that I fed through. Okay, so we've got a... I'll just take a picture of where all these cables go. Cable comes off here, just has a push down tab, release tab. My gloves have shit all over them, so gripping it is a little difficult. This just pops off of there, this pops off of there, and then this one, I believe, yeah, that just easily slides off. So these, and then this goes to the injector, and then I think this is the gauge cluster or something. I don't know what this is, but it's a big one. And it has a little tab that you want to, I think you can just, yeah, you can just do it with your fingernail. Just pull up on, and then it pops out. Okay, and so this entire harness needs to come out because it goes, pretty much the only way it can go is underneath the intake manifold. You don't need to remove the intake manifold to feed this. It is possible to feed it. Usually I do that. I put the intake manifold on first and then I feed it through after. Just because the intake manifold is a complete and utter pain in the ass to... oh, there's one more connector down there. Come on. There we go. Oh, yes, the other injector. Thought I disconnected that, but apparently I didn't. Okay. There we go. And just like that. Oh. I should take a picture of that. That's probably like a position sensor or something. I'm sure that is something that I would be like, where on earth does this connector go? Meanwhile, it's like hidden by the oil cap. Okay. So now this should just come right off. Let's just getting hung up on the turbo inlet a bit. There we go. I think. Is that all it's getting hung up on? Feels like there might be something else there. Oh, huh. Yeah, I mean, technically that, but that's what we're replacing, so. Oh, no, that's not connected. Oh, no, that's not connected either. Why is this getting hung up on something? No, it should just come off. I think I just gotta pull. Oh. Ah, there we go. Oh, no, oh, right, this. There we go. There we go. Comes off. And there's something else holding it still. Yeah, alright. I guess technically there's a pipe back here that just needs to come undone. Oh, that's going to be a pain in the ass. I'll show you guys. It's this like Y pipe, and it's just going below the throttle body right there. I don't think there's any, yeah, there's no hose clamp or anything on it. It's just a tight fit. There we go. Just a bit of wiggling and it pops right off. There we go. Okay, now it should lift off. There we go. Oof, that's kind of mangled. It's not cracked, so I can just bend it back into shape probably. And now, what we want to do, some duct tape, and just put it over the holes so they don't get anything falling in there. All right, so here's the donor, or the intake manifold from the donor engine. Should be identical to the one I have. This red pipe is really all I need. All right, tune in for part 2.